Hello friends, welcome back to yet another interesting stock chart video which I have lined up. I'll probably term it as a multi-bagger series, and it's a mid-cap probable stock which looks very attractive on the charts. So we'll discuss. Before we start, I would want everyone to ensure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get some such interesting videos on such interesting stocks, some interesting insights and observations on stocks, which can probably boost portfolios. So, multi-baggers stocks are the ones which are very difficult to fathom. They are the ones which needs a lot of patience for, investors to ride. There are bound to be, volatile periods, which happens when you try and, look at probable multi-baggers. But then, over a longer term time span, if these chart patterns typically play out, then we've seen some very strong and exceedingly I would say rewarding outcome happening into these names. So today is one of the cases where I would suggest, or rather would indicate one of the mid cap stock which looks attractive to me on charts. So without much ado, let's begin. So this is the first important pattern. So technical analysis. I'm sure all of you guys who follow technical analysis, one of the patterns which holds extremely strong prominence on long term charts is the rounding bottom pattern. तो typically बोलते हैं कि जितना बड़ा rounding bottom pattern होता है, जितना ज्यादा spread होता है, उतना ही बड़ा breakout potential हो सकता है. So both in terms of the magnitude in which the stocks can fly up, as well as in terms of the intensity in which the stocks can rally, the durability of the stock trends, which happens on all of these fronts. We've seen rounding bottom patterns historically in technicals to play out as one of the most important and significant chart patterns to play out. So without naming the stock, I'll just show the chart pattern so that it removes bias from your perspective when you look at the charts. Again, a classic rounding bottom pattern, almost a 20-year pattern. So as you can see from 2001, when the stock entered this rounding bottom pattern, after correcting from 550 levels, it spent almost 2 decades in this rounding bottom pattern, and now you've seen a breakout. So it's very important that you understand that. Look at the breakout. The breakout has been a leading breakout, which means there has been series of good positive months leading into this bottom pattern breakout. Again, it's a very essential indicator, because you don't want a feeble breakout. You don't want halka sa breakout. The breakout has to be very strong, and it has to be followed by multiple follow through price candles. So we've seen first part that happening into this stock price. Let's look at some of the other indicators and some different time frames. This is now on the quarterly chart. As you can see on the quarterly time frame as well, the stochastic oscillator is just about to on the verge of a breakout. So assuming if the stock remains at these levels, say for the next quarter, the start of the next quarter, the oscillator is bound to give a breakout. But is that just one reason or two reasons for suggesting a buy? One of my favorite indicators, which I typically look at in terms of finding trends, has been the iNifty indicator. If you remember, guys, on my Facebook live as well, I had presented a lot of time on stocks like Tata Motors, ICICI Bank, so large cap heavyweight stocks giving those kind of breakouts. Now on the iNifty indicator, as you can see on the next slide on the monthly chart, this is the potential of the iNifty indicator. So generally when you see these indicators, that's the red line which crosses the blue line, you typically see a multi-month rally into the stock prices. So in many cases, in at least in the last 3 attempts, when the stock has given an iNifty breakout on the monthly time frame, we've seen the stock giving returns more than 1 to 1.5x, more than 1 to 1.5x. And remember, this we are talking of that the stock was still in a consolidation, in a big 2 decades of consolidation. Now, what is the significance of this pattern? We've already seen the move, the first move happening on the monthly charts. But the significance is that if the same pattern breakout happens on the quarterly time frame, that is the most significant part. So this is the monthly charts, and now let's look at this on the quarterly charts. As you can see, the iNifty indicator has confirmed a breakout on the stock on the quarterly chart. So as you can expect, what happens in a monthly time frame, that on a monthly time frame, the stock in a span of say 1 year gives you return of more than 1 to 2.5 or x kind of returns, more than 100%, to be precise. So if the pattern happens on a longer term time scale, the breakout potential is far more significant. So now if you try and add all the perspective, you look at the rounding bottom pattern chart, 2 decades of consolidation, the stochastic indicator breakout on the quarterly time frame, the I-Nifty indicator, which is a trend indicator, trending indicator breakout, then the parabolic SAR, the Donkin channel breakouts on so many time frames, so many or multi scale analysis. This chart looks extremely attractive. Now the only concern is that the stock has been into circuits in the last few days. I think there's some news flow which is attached towards the stock price in the last few days, which has come across. But nevertheless, I think for a patient investor, there are opportunities with the stock opens up. It tends to come out of the circuit. So if you can buy this on dip, I think a perfect entry point would be closer to 100 or 108 range, which the stock was trading just few days back when it came into my radar. And I think that's the zone where you should look to accumulate, because if this quarterly chart patterns and the longer term chart patterns actually play out, this could actually be turned out to be a multi scale upside. So what's the name of the stock? Without much ado, the name of the stock is Copran. It's a mid cap name, but it's a liquid mid cap name. I've looked at the particulars, the ISN numbers, the sector. It represents from the pharma pack and has a face value of 10. So you can go back, look at the charts, look at the study for yourself, look at the monthly and the quarterly time frame, and I'm sure you will get a lot of positive vibes when you look at the charts. So let's hope that this plays out in an exact fashion, which typically a rounding bottom patterns and such kind of quarterly chart patterns play out for such names. So I hope you guys like the video. Without much ado, if you like the videos, I would request all of you guys to ensure that you leave a comment on this and definitely subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, there is that one big surprise which is already left in my previous video, which I had indicated on technical T. There is this one large cap stock which has given returns on a multi-year time scale. Last 2 decades, we've seen some such solid breakouts. That video is still remaining. So if you subscribe to the channel today, I'm sure that by Friday, by tomorrow, we'll try and release the video for that large cap stock as well. So ensure that you guys subscribe the video and don't forget to like and leave a comment on it. Thank you so much guys for your time. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.